I also look for what I call cluster buys, right? So, one politician, one executive buying a stock, that's good. But when we see 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
10 of these guys
Yeah.
all buying all at the same time, that usually means they know something. In addition to that, there are certain kinds of stocks you want to focus on. I mentioned the smaller, kind of off the radar names. This is by and large where the big opportunity is. But if you take like biotechs, pharmaceutical stocks, for example, these just by nature can make these really big moves really fast because all it takes is a positive drug trial, an FDA approval. And I mean, these stocks can double, triple in a few weeks.
Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, and as you know, if you're a regular to this channel, we're all about helping you tap into the growing parallel economy that's literally building the future right in the present. Kevin O'Leary, Grant Cardone, they've recently publicly declared blue states are dead and the future of thriving businesses and prosperity belongs to conservative red states. But as you all know, there's always the looming specter from Mordor, better known as DC, right? Recent talk from the Fed and the Treasury about central bank digital currencies and rising interest rates are certainly making people anxious. But the irony here is that even from the fires of Mordor, patriots can actually learn to financially thrive. And that's why I brought back one of my favorite guests, my good friend Ross Givens, because Ross is not just an expert on how politicians financially flourish inside DC. He's also a patriot who's passionate about showing the rest of us how we can actually financially benefit by learning to use our politicians' corruption against them. In fact, Ross and I are having a free training session coming up this Wednesday, February 28th, where we go even deeper than we can on YouTube. So make sure to click on the link in the description below to learn more. Ross, welcome back, man. Great to see you again.
Hey, Dr. Steve, always good to see you. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have you, man. Now, you've been on the show a number of times talking about what has become, rightly so, a very, very important topic of late, insider trading by corrupt politicians. And you've shared with our viewers the huge advantage that DC insiders have and how they use non-public private information to win big in the stock market. And what I love about what you do is you don't talk in generalities or, ethereal principles or anything like that. You always manage to find specific stocks that are being bought up by these congressional cronies, often because they know things the general public doesn't. And as I understand it, today you've got new research showing how following Congress's trades can actually make patriots a lot of money. But before we dive into those details, can you bring everyone up to speed who maybe didn't see the video last month? Just give us, in broad strokes, what these politicians are doing that are getting these amazing returns. I know some of them are like 200% on their investments, and why it's so important for us to learn about it.
Well, you called it right. It is insider trading. There's no other way to look at it. But they've got a nice little loophole so that for them it's not. It won't shock you. The people who write these rules wrote them so that they can legally break them, just like they did with their loophole with healthcare and everything else. And that's just Congress for you. But what they're doing is, by definition, insider trading. They are buying stocks based on information the general public does not have access to. And we've talked about these examples in the past, how a lot of these senators sold all their stocks after they got briefed on COVID, right before the market crashed, or how they were buying defense stocks right as Russia invaded Ukraine. And some like Pelosi, I've been doing this for years. She's made $100 million from these questionable trades. So it is corruption, plain and simple. But I'm excited to share this research because this is not, woulda, shoulda, coulda, if only I had access. This is following their trades in real time that we all have access to. Here's what you can do. And I wanted to share it with your viewers.
Yeah, absolutely. In many ways, I think this is almost part 2 to the video we did last month. So you found a way that average people, just patriots out there, they can profit from the naked corruption at the top. So is there more to this investment style than just following the money? I don't want to oversimplify things, but
that's exactly it, right? The simplicity is the beauty of it. We're looking for stocks that are being bought by these folks with inside information, like politicians, like company executives. You just know more than us. And they use that knowledge to become very rich, as they have for decades. And look, I don't like it any more than you do. But you know, you and I have talked about this. I'm not here to whine and complain. I'm not trying to be some Wall Street version of Greta Thunberg. You know, I'm just looking at, hey, the people in positions of power are corrupt. They always have been. They always will be. So I can either sit around and get angry, or I can use that information to my advantage and show other people how to profit from it as well, kind of even the playing field.
How dare you? How dare you? I've got it in my head. How do you do that? I'm that little Yoda doll. How dare you? Now, when you were on the show back, this was, I believe, our June broadcast. I asked if you could share, and again, this is what I love about what you do. You're the real deal. I asked you to share a specific stock, right? So these aren't principles, pie in the sky kind of stuff. Specific stock, one that these politicians were actively buying right now at that point.
Yeah.
So our viewers could follow along and see how this works. And you did that. And the stock was NGL Energy. I checked on that stock before the show today.
Mhm.
Dude, it's almost doubled.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, this clearly, I love what you said. The beauty is in its simplicity. How do you find this information? How can our viewers find these stocks and have the same opportunities? I mean, we're talking almost doubling. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's all public record. You know, people don't realize Congress is required to report their trades within 45 days, and we all have access to that information. So the main thing I like to do is focus on the smaller stocks. I found the best opportunity there. So you know, if they're buying Procter and Gamble or Walmart or some other blue chip that every mutual fund America knows, I kind of ignore that. But like NGL is a great example. It's why I shared it with you a couple of months ago. This was a little $4 stock, a little off the radar natural gas company. That one congressman, Mark Green, was buying it up like crazy. He went in for like $100,000 one month, another 100 the next, $250,000 the next. So it got in for like $500,000 in a couple months. Now, Green is a Republican member of the House from Tennessee. Now, he's also on the Foreign Affairs Committee. And this is why I shared this, because the Foreign Affairs Committee, as you know, Dr. Steve, is the branch that oversees military deployment, foreign assistance, and international economic policy. So his committee is the one that deals with things like OPEC cutting oil production or sanctions, banning natural gas from Russian pipelines, things like that. So he seemed like a guy who would have pretty good insights into this little natural gas and oil company that he's buying up hand over fist. So, you know, it really is that simple.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it seemed like he would have an edge, you know?
Yeah, right. But this wasn't a one-off thing, though. It's not even rare, right? These politicians buying stocks right before they go up in price is a natural, regular occurrence that we can tap into.
Yeah, and I don't want to say it happens every time, but it's a lot more common than people would believe, which is, I sent this chart to you. This is based on that new research. If I think y'all could put it up on the screen here, but this was done as a website called QuiverQuant, and they track a lot of this political stuff, but they built a portfolio. It's very simple, and they tracked this since early 2020 of these congressional trades. So all it does when a member of Congress buys a stock, it buys the stock, not the day when it is reported, when it is public information to you and I. And then when a member of Congress sells a stock, they sell it short, basically betting against it. That's it. That's all it does. And as you can see, I mean, the results are astounding. This is not like 20, 30 years. This is the last 4 years. And the Dow Jones is up 84% over this time. Just following Congress trades is up 263%. So, you know, 100 grand in an index is 184. Congress, 363,000. I mean, triple the gains of the general market. And anyone can do this.
It's I have to put my chin back up into my cranium here. For people who want to do this themselves. I mean, obviously there's, again, the beauty is in the simplicity of it. What kinds of things should they be looking for? I know you got a free training event coming up this Wednesday, February 28th. I'll be there, where you go through this step by step. But just right now, give us an idea of what you'll be teaching. What makes a stock stand out as one that could be a great investment?
The number one thing you want to see is insider buying. So DC politicians are one group of insiders. The other are the insiders inside that company. If you've got the chief executive officer, the chief financial officer, the chairman of the board, if they're buying, that's a big tip of the hat that something good could be on the horizon, especially if they are buying a lot of stock or buying for the first time in several years. And that's actually one of the reasons I recommended NGL to you a few months ago. Because not only was this congressman buying like crazy, which honestly would have been enough, but NGL's chief financial officer bought 50,000 shares around the same time. This guy's been a CFO for a couple years, never bought before. Now he's diving in. So, that's one thing. If you've got someone who's either been at that company for a lot of years, never bought before, or like this congressman suddenly going in really heavy out of nowhere, hundreds of thousands of dollars, that's something you want to pay attention to.
Right. Right. But all right. Absolutely. But in our free training, you get even deeper. And I want you to get even deeper here. What else?
Yeah.
What else
That's one thing. I also look for what I call cluster buys, right? So, one politician, one executive buying the stock, that's good. But when we see 2, 3, 4, 10 of these guys all buying all at the same time, that usually means they know something. Right. In addition to that, there are certain kinds of stocks you want to focus on. I mentioned the smaller, kind of off the radar names. This is by and large where the big opportunity is. But if you take like biotechs, pharmaceutical stocks, for example, these just by nature can make these really big moves really fast because all it takes is a positive drug trial, an FDA approval. And I mean, these stocks can double, triple in a few weeks. So these are ones you absolutely want to follow people who know that information. So we did one a while back. It's this little biotech company. Well, suddenly the chief medical director out of nowhere is buying up tens of thousands of shares of this stock right before the company is scheduled to report, phase 2 drug trial results. It's like, doesn't need to be a genius to go, maybe I should follow along. But again, it's not that hard. Like you said, it's really simple. Most people just don't realize they can do this. But that's why we hold these free training events a few times a year. We show people where to find this information, what to look for, what to avoid, everything you need to know. So I encourage all your viewers to join us this Wednesday. I know we always get a full room. We've had a lot of great feedback from your viewers, and I appreciate you having me on because these events are online. They're 100% free. It starts at 3 o'clock Eastern. Should last about an hour. But all you got to do, click on the link below the video, put in your email. We'll send you everything you need to log in and join us. That's the only caveat. We do cap out at 1,000. The software we use can only have 1,000 attendees. These almost always fill up. And when that happens, it just won't let you in. So I encourage you to go ahead and register now. But I think it's going to blow people's minds, as it always does. And I love sharing this with fellow patriots, showing people how to even the score, level the playing field, and say, all right, you scumbags, if you're going to do this, well, at least I can follow along. I'll make money when you do.
I don't want to, and I don't mean to embarrass him here, gang, but Ross isn't kidding. We do get overflow. It does. The software does not allow everyone to come if we get too many. But Ross has been kind enough in the past to actually do follow-up free trainings. Like he takes a Saturday morning out of his schedule just to follow up with the guys who couldn't make it in. So don't make Ross have to come on Saturday. Sign up now. Click now. Sign up. You're going to love it. It's going to be absolutely amazingly worth your time. You can't believe how simple this is and yet how effective it is. It's absolutely amazing. So make sure you click on that link below. Sign up for the free training this Wednesday, February 20th, 3 p.m. Eastern. I'll be there. And wait until you learn how we can actually tap in to the same techniques that our politicians use to gain some amazing returns in their investments. But of course, we're doing it ethically, and we're doing it to build.
It is legal. We should clarify that. I mean, 100% legal, above board. without question.
Yeah,
So
nobody here is being bribed with it.
yeah, that's right.
We're doing this for our loved ones and so forth. We're not doing this to live off the secrets of our particular position in
Exactly.
DC. That's for sure. It's absolutely ethical, but it's a way of being able to tap into something that obviously works, and Ross knows how to do it. So make sure to click on that link below. February 28th, 3 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you guys there. Ross, as always, amazing insights. Thanks so much, bro.
Hey, always a pleasure. Thanks for having me on, Dr. Steve. Keep up the great work.
Right back at you.